Stop what you're doing and listen. Jim Jones, the lone Dipset legend, has just lost it. And it's all recorded on. But here's the kicker. This isn't some minor skirmish, but a full-fledged onslaught on Cameron. A war so brutal, it will leave you stunned. This isn't just drama. It's a scandal with a capital S. You've seen rappers argue before, but this is the next stage. Jim Jones, in a blind wrath, goes on Cameron in a vicious public brawl, and the internet is already fire, and the video has gone viral faster than wildfire. But that's not the most remarkable part. Only hours later, the chaos, Jim Jones gets arrested. Yup, you heard that right. The cops came in like it was a movie. And now the issue. What exactly happened behind closed doors? Was this merely another argument? Or is there something considerably worse lying below the surface? Stay attentive, because what I'm about to explain will leave you wondering everything about Jim Jones. Trust me, you won't believe the twisted reality. Jim Jones is no new to controversy over the years. Harlem artist has a penchant for stirring the pot, whether it's through his song antics or public feuds. The most recent episode involving Jim Jones and Cameron is like an unexpected story twist. Coming into this never-ending drama, everyone imagined they'd buried the hatchet long ago, yet it appears that is far from the reality. On the surface, it appeared to be simply another argument, another battle that could have resolved behind closed doors. But as we all know, nothing remains private in the world of rap in the blink of an eye. What was supposed to be a quiet conversation between two former friends evolved into a violent brawl, throwing one man in cuffs and the other injured and mistreated. The video of this fight has gone viral, and it's all everybody can speak about. Jim Jones, a man known for his tough eye persona, is currently at the center of a crisis that no one predicted. The sequence of events that led to this incident is still unknown, but what we do know is that Jim Jones and Cameron have been in the public eye together for years, and as members of the Diplomats, the acclaimed Harl rap combo that offered us endless songs and formed a dynasty in the game, but as with many high-profile relationships, began to deteriorate. Old grudges resurfaced. Commercial difficulties became personal, and eventually they were no longer merely collaborators but adversaries. The public schism between Jim Jones and Cameron has been going on for years, and this latest episode is just another chapter in their ever-changing quarrel, but this time things went too. The battle took place at what was supposed to be a private meeting between Jim and Cameron, trying to talk out their disagreements, settle their beefs, and maybe even get back to their origin partners, but according to numerous sources, it quickly evolved into a violent battle. One minute they were speaking, the next Jim Jones apparently lunged on Cameron, knocking him down and delivering a series of brutal blows. Brief but intense. Cameron, obviously taken off guard, tried to shield himself, but Jim was too much and grabbed the upper. Jim unleashed furious punches, knocking Cameron to the ground and not stopping until the damage was done. This isn't simply another fight between two celebrities, are a metaphor for all that has gone wrong in their relationship over time. Culmination of years of stress, unresolved disputes, and we can't deny that this battle was recorded. The film is all over social media, news websites, and is being shared, published, and discussed. The world is watching non-stop as Jim Jones, a guy who's known to be harsh and violent, even takes his rage out on former friend and business partner. The issue now is what will happen next. Let's talk about what went below. After the Ye fight, Jim Jones wasn't simply allowed to walk away from this. Oh no. This occurrence received the attention of authorities. Jim was apprehended less than 2 hours after the altercation, and police arrived at the location after receiving an anonymous tip, alerted them of the situation. When the police arrived, they located Jim and Cameron in a state of uncertainty. The perpetrator was arrested on the spot and charged with simple assault and battery. But things are never that straightforward, especially when it comes to someone as high profile as Jim Jones, so let's break this down a little more. Jim Jones has been entangled in his own share of legal issues in the past, but this time it's different. And the public is. The media has blown this out of proportion, but the reality remains that Jim Jones assaulted Cameron. The video is out there, and it's not going away anytime soon. As more people view it, the doubts about what caused it grow. Was it truly just a fight? Or was there something more at play here, according to unidentified sources close? Regarding the situation, this wasn't just about injured emotions or a misunderstanding. full-blown outburst. Jim, in a fit wrath, lost control. But why was this more than just a personal conflict between two artists who used Torially brothers? Or was there some greater plan at play? Sources close to Jim Jones have speculated that this fight could have been inspired by something more than simply words. Did Cameron say something that hurt Jim? Did he overstep a boundary and push Jim too far with his comments, or was there some other underlying issue that we didn't know about? Allegations have emerged that there were talks prior to the incident, discussing commercial deals, old grudges, and things that were left unsaid. But was it genuinely the basis of this brawl, or was there anything else? According to a few, Jim had been coping with a lot of personal stress, and this battle was the result of years of. Whether or not this is true, the fact remains that Jim Jones let it all out in some fashion that no one saw coming, and now he's suffering the cost. The police aren't the only ones examining this. According to word on the street, both Jim and Cameron's teams are dealing with the consequences of this confrontation. Behind the scenes, there are whispers that Cameron has been discussing with his attorneys about pursuing charges. Jim's legal team is working to put together a defense, and here's the kicker. There are suspicions that the entire situation was planned or at least purposefully provoked. Others say it was all meant for attention in another way. Could this be another episode in the continuing controversy that keeps these two's names in the news? Only time will tell about the Dipset drama, but don't forget about the true consequence here. Jim Jones's foul out isn't just a rapper. He's a brand, a cultural personality, and someone whose every move is watched by the media. The fight misarrest is damaging his reputation in ways that go beyond the legal accusations. Fans and critics some are supporting Jim, stating that Cameron pushed him too far, while others are condemning him, claiming that this is the final straw in a long sequence of poor choices. So what's next for Jim Jones? Cameron, what does this indicate for their future in the industry? This is just the beginning, folks, and believe me, you'll want to stay around for the next half of this story because things are about to get much weirder. The consequences of this conflict are far-reaching, and the aftermath from Jim Jones will be unpleasant. The furious debate with Cameron is far from over, and public reactions are pouring in from all sides. Just about the actual combat, it's about all that comes after it. Level lines are gathering journalists, having a field day, and fans are split. But let's dig more into what happened following the arrest and how things are sliding out of hand for both Jim Jones and Cameron after word of Jim's arrest circulated, widely filled social media. But it wasn't simply the standard jokes. Both supporters and detractors began to doubt that. For years, Jim had been the self-proclaimed tough man, with his entire image built on power control. Being untouchable, yet suddenly that image was demolished in front of the world. Could it be that Jim's reputation, years of ruling the rap world, was all simply a mess? Was he truly just a man who couldn't handle his okay? But let's go into the details of what's happening behind the scenes, according to people close to the matter. Jim Jones' imprisonment is just the tip of the iceberg. Both his and Cameron's teams are racing to deal with the ramifications. Multiple individuals have come out reporting that Jim's crew is executing damage control at breakneck speed, allegedly called out to multiple prominent media outlets, pressing for positive publicity to counter the negative criticism. The media's focus on Jim's violent outburst is causing severe concerns for his commercial operations, including prospective sponsorships and future relationships. Will Fern continue to desire? Cameron is evidently furious, and while Vazant said much publicly, insiders believe that he is personally aggrieved by Jim's conduct. This wasn't just a physical attack quarrel, it was a betrayal. These two were formerly like family, but Cameron is claimed to be. He is supposedly exploring the possibility of launching legal action against Jim while carefully considering his alternatives. The assault, whether this will lead to a lawsuit, remains to be seen. But considering the film that has already been released in the public light, Cameron has a solid case. Let's get into the legal consequences of this altercation. Jim Jones has been arrested, but what does that mean for him moving forward? First and foremost, engaged. Forget the public outrage is increasing by the day. Some legal experts are already anticipating that Jim may facing a protracted court battle. The video footage of the incident has already been used as evidence. It's obvious that the physicality of the argument was overwhelming wrath, as shown firing punch after punch, knocking Cameron to the ground and not stopping until the injury was done. Experts feel this type of behavior could lead Jim may risk a fine, probation, or even time in prison if things go wrong, but that is not the case. Jim's only concern is that the repercussions are far-reaching, and there are rumors circling. Jim's management team, as well as his closest supporters, are reviewing their relationships to him. There is debate about contract, renegotiations, potential breakups with his business partners, and even a public apology tour. The last thing Jim wants is to lose his corporate empire over a stupid dispute that could have. The public's perception of Jim Jones is being shaped by the court drama, but it's too late to reverse the harm. With a much darker brush, gone are the days of the calm, controlled rapper with the swagger that everyone liked. Now Jim is being presented as a loose cannon, a man who can't manage his anger and lashes out when things don't go his way. Is this the image he planned to leave behind? Or is this just another chapter in his fall from grace? But wait, other sources close to Cameron claim that he will not sit idly by and allow Jim escape the hook. Cameron, the sharp-witted artist Cameron, known for his biting tongue, has allegedly been making some calls of his own. Cameron has asked other people in the business for advice on how to proceed. He's reported to be making a public statement that might potentially reveal even more specifics about Jim's actions that has not yet come to light. Confrontation may increase his status even further if he decides to. Press allegations might put him in the spotlight, portraying him as the victim in this story, eliciting sympathy from supporters, and the media could work in his favor, making Jim the villain of the story, while Cameron is perceived as more controlled. Jim is forced to deal with the consequences of his actions, but there's another twist to this drama that we need to ponder. What if this entire problem is larger than just a personal rivalry? Jim's actions were more than just a result of anger or dissatisfaction with Cameron. There are concerns that Jim may have sources close to the incident speculated that Jim was under the influence during the confrontation. Having been drinking prior to the encounter may have impacted his judgment, resulting in the current outburst. Ruined his image. This theory is just that, but it would certainly explain why Jim would do something so idiotic. Meanwhile, the world is watching for Cameron's next move. He's reported to be mulling on the legal strategy, but he is also considering taking this opportunity to address the problem publicly, whether through a tweet, Instagram post, or perhaps a YouTube video. The video has the potential to transform the entire narrative in Cameron's favor. It's a delicate dance that he must manage. Consider this scenario carefully. One wrong move, and the entire thing could backfire. So what happens next for each of these men? Where do they proceed from here? Jim faces a future full of will he apologize to Cameron? Will he be able to restore his reputation and restore his spot in the rap industry? Will Cameron grasp this opportunity to bring charges, or will he let the problem settle down and continue on with his career? We're watching the unraveling among the public argument that has been simmering for years and poised to reach a boiling pitch. Believe me when I say that this is far from done. As time passes and the ramifications of Jim Jones's imprisonment grow, everyone wonders what happens next. Will Jim be able to rescue his career and reputation, or is this the beginning of the end for him, and how? Does Cameron manage the aftermath? The drama has only just begun, but the repercussions are already becoming apparent. Let's start with Jim's defense. Despite the significant evidence of the attack, Jim's legal team has not been sitting quietly. According to sources close to the situation, they're attempting everything they can to get a shorter sentence, or maybe even get the charges dropped completely. The strategies being studied argue that the confrontation wasn't. They appear to be claiming that Jim was provoked and that his behavior was the product of a long-standing hatred between him and Cameron. But can this explanation stand up given the video shows Jim throwing punches and not backing down even after Cameron was on the ground? Only time will tell, but it's clear that Jim is doing everything in his ability to evade jail time in the meantime. Public opinion is evolving, and people who earlier supported Jim's strong guy image is beginning to question if he's truly the role model he always claimed to be. The meme culture around Jim's the arrest is violent, with others blaming him for being unable to control his wrath. There's a sense of disillusionment is in the air, and his previously devoted admirers are beginning to wander away. Jim was once an untouchable, larger-than-life persona in the hip-hop culture, but now he's just another cautionary tale, narrative of how rapidly things can crumble on social media. Response has been furious with everyone from hip-hop, from fans to celebrities. Some have rushed to Jim's defense, claiming that everyone has a breaking point. His actions, while regrettable, were the result of years of pent-up wrath. Nonetheless, others are less sympathetic. Cameron's supporters are especially vocal in criticizing Jim for what they see as a betrayal of their real friends don't attack each other like we. One user remarked, Jim Jones, while Cameron is playing, he's been playing the long game by staying quiet in public, but he's moving behind the scenes. Legal experts say Cameron is carefully analyzing his alternatives to decide whether or not to initiate a case. Simply, let the problem cool down. Others are speculating that Cameron may take the high road and leave the legal system handle it, but others believe he's adopting a more strong approach regardless of the financial situation. Things are getting rough for both Jim and Cameron. Jim's record business is reportedly concerned about the harm to his image. While no formal announcement has been published, some sources suggest they are considering measures to separate. Jim is in a hazardous position because his business agreements are now being. Will he lose endorsements and opportunities to cooperate with other artists? It's all up in the air, and the more time passes, it appears like Jim's empire may crumble for Cameron. But the scenario is a little different. The entire episode has brought him back into the spotlight, but it has also forced him to address some unpleasant realities. He's been getting a lot of attention from the media, both positive and negative, while some are complimenting him for not joining in a public conflict, while others are wondering if he's just waiting for the Cameron knows how to utilize the media to his advantage and he's chomping his time to make his next move. But when the dust settles, it's critical to recognize that this scenario is far more than just a personal dispute between two artists, is a reflection of something much larger. A culture that fosters violence, aggression in hip-hop. For years, the rap game has been founded on the principle of authenticity and willingness to throw down when the time calls for it. But what happens when that mindset goes too far? What happens when a battle recorded on tape and the consequences are more terrible than anyone thought in the aftermath of Jim's arrest business? Insiders are beginning to investigate these issues, with some believing that Jim's acts could act as a wake-up call for the hip-hop culture is no longer simply about lyrics or swagger, it's about accountability. If Jim can tumble from, will this episode lead to a larger discussion on how hip-hop culture handles conflict, or will it just be another case of a rapper gone wayward at the present? The ramifications of Jim's activities are still surfacing, and court battles are only the beginning. Public opinion will continue to change. The impact on Jim's career will become clearer in the coming months. But one thing is certain, this is a moment in time that no one in the hip-hop industry will forget. As for Cameron, what's next for him? While Jim is Cameron, it will be felt throughout the entire rap game. Their struggle has stirred up a larger topic regarding violence in hip-hop and the human ramifications of a culture based on aggression and ego is a tale that is continuing unfolding and will have a lasting impact on the hip-hop scene for years to come. As for Jim, it is questionable whether he will be able to bounce back, but some admirers hope that he can learn from this experience and progress as a person. While others believe that his fall from grace is irreversible, Jimjones has proved that even the most untouchable individuals in hip-hop may be knocked down by their own acts. Will they rise again? The end of the road for his empire. One thing is certain, this story is far from over and we'll be watching closely. We'll keep you updated on every twist and turn as the story progresses, but for now, here's what. What do you think will happen next? Will Jimjones fight back from this, or will Cameron claim victory? Let us know in the comments below. Contain an explosive narrative that continues to unravel with no end in sight. But now, we'd like to hear from you. What do you believe will happen next? Will Jimjones bounce? Is this the final nail in his will Cameron take full advantage of the coffin, of the moment, or will he move on? Quietly, we want to know your opinions. Please leave them in the comments below. And let's start the conversation. If you appreciated this deep dive on the latest hip-hop drama, be sure to like this. Subscribe to see more beautiful videos, tales of intense conflicts, and behind-the-scenes looks that you will not find anyplace else. Do not forget to press that notification ring so you're always the first to know. When we launch new products, believe us, I don't want to miss what comes next. Please share this video with others, friends, so they can participate. Does not appreciate the activity, but I adore a good controversy. So stay tuned, because the narrative is not over yet, and it will be. Right here giving you the latest updates. Till the next.